Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you once again to our witnesses for testifying yet again before the committee. A couple of questions and broaden the base a little bit here. But for both of you, just to start, you mentioned in the administration's, you each mentioned the administration's STEM education reorganization proposal as an issue moving forward. In my district back home in Massachusetts, we have a number of programs that have been highly successful in reaching students of all ages and getting them interested in STEM fields. I share some of your concerns about potentially reorganizing these programs and losing the expertise of issue area specialists. I've visited some vocational schools that have amazing partnerships with NASA and getting kids really excited about fields of engineering and exploration. And I think we can all agree that increasing the effectiveness and efficiency for federal STEM efforts is something worth pursuing. Do you have any recommendations or any suggestions on how NASA can improve its education and outreach priorities going forward?
I believe that the administration's proposed reorganization of STEM education in NASA is deeply misguided. NASA is a unique organization within the government. It flies missions into space, and the technical audacity of those missions and their capability to inspire are virtually unmatched in terms of what this government does and its ability to get young people turned on by science, by technology. And to take that responsibility, the responsibility for sharing that capability with the public away from NASA and give it to, I don't care, any organization that doesn't do spaceflight, I think is a bad idea. The thing that makes NASA's education outreach programs as effective as they are is that they are conducted by people who have not only a deep knowledge for what they're doing, but a passion for sharing it. And you listen to some of NASA's scientists and some of engineers talk with young people about how excited they are about what we get to do for a living. You know, this is compelling stuff. And to take that away from the agency and hand it off to an organization that has no experience flying stuff in space, I think is just a bad mistake.
Fair enough. Anything you want to add, sir? No? Great. Then moving on, I'd like to hear a little bit more about your thoughts on the space technology provisions of the bill. As I understand it, authorization levels included in the draft are obviously much lower, and the program would need to be adjusted to support exploration-related technology development by moving much of the funding to support the Human Exploration and the Operations Mission Directorate. How do you think that this would impact the future development of space technology?
The thing I commented on is not so much the level of the program, because that's important, but you know, it's very difficult for someone in our position to have gone through all the activities. But having been involved both in NASA and in the private sector for a long time, both operational missions and technology, the thing that's always struck me is that there's a constant debate, and that is there's a motivation to try to align the technology with the management of the missions or the projects, because that really makes it most relevant. I mean, no question, they're the users. The problem is when the crunch comes, and it always comes, the resources that are there for the technology get used to solve problems on the missions that you're trying to execute. And I don't offer that as being wrong. I mean, that's the priorities that people have to take. The other side of it is that you put technology in a technology organization. And there are some dangers there too, because then the technology kind of creeps away from being as relevant as you want it to be. It falls more in the paradigm of building the technology budget as opposed to the overall balance of the activities. And it can kind of become an end in itself, as I commented. So you've really got those two situations. There's not an optimum solution. Having watched it, lived it, seen the merits and the problems with it over time, I favor putting it in an independent organization. However, with a strong oversight capability.
Sir,
to assure relevance and to assure that it doesn't get out of control. The NRC of the academies is a great oversight kind of an organization.
I've got 3 seconds, but briefly, you both commented on the asteroid retrieval mission. I seem to sense some skepticism from both of you on that mission. If not in the, are there technological advances, are there gains that can be made if our overall goal, if NASA's goal is getting to Mars, that benefit from the asteroid retrieval mission? And if you can answer it in less than 10 seconds.
I personally don't see a strong connection between the proposed asteroid retrieval mission and sending humans to Mars, but I believe NASA should at least be given the opportunity to try to make that case. I haven't
Ways
heard
to
it
do
yet.
it. And I'm a passionate, as you go forward with the Authorization Act, to utilize whatever resources are available on the highest priority endeavors. And my judgment is this is not a highest priority endeavor.
Thank you both.